Welcome to episode 2 of the Espresso Essentials series. Today we're going to be talking about how to prep your portafilter and your coffee puck to make espresso. This is essential into getting good, consistent shots. So I want to go over a few things that you need before you get started. The first thing is you need to select your dose. Your dose means the amount of coffee grounds you are putting into your portafilter. I recommend starting at 18 grams. 18 grams is a pretty standard known in the industry of starting for that, and you're gonna aim for getting 18 grams of coffee into your portafilter into 36 grams into your cup, which is known as a 1-to-2 ratio. So first you need to select 18 grams and you need to grind those even 18 grams with your burr grinder. This is the SD40. I've already got my pre-grounds in here, and it comes in this nice little cup. Here is where it ground into. The next thing you are gonna need is you're gonna need a tamper. Most of your machines come with a tamper, and usually it'll be enough to get you started. If it's a plastic, really cheap feeling tamper, I'd recommend maybe upgrading, but things that come standard with most machines might get the job done in order. But you can find a lot of different tampers on espressooutlet.com and various places like that that'll get you started. This is a Barista Hustle one, which is typically what I use. The next thing you're going to need is a WDT tool. WDT tool stands for Weiss Distribution Technique, and that is basically the stirring of the coffee grounds in a portafilter. I use this one that I got on Etsy. There are many different ones that you can buy out there. At the very, very least, I would recommend bending a bobby pin in order to stir up the clumps, or find a couple sewing needles or something like that to get you started if you don't have one of these. But I'd highly recommend picking up one of these sooner rather than later, because it will give you consistent shots time and time again. The next thing that is an optional thing that does help though is a bottomless portafilter. The reason why a bottomless portafilter helps is because versus a spouted portafilter, one that has little spouts on the bottom of it, it allows you to see if the coffee is spraying while you're brewing, which will help diagnose your shot a little bit more down the road. So this is an optional thing as well, which is just a little funnel that sits on top of your portafilter that kind of helps the coffee grounds get into it. So you're gonna put your portafilter down and then just go ahead and load up your coffee grounds into it. And then if you notice, there are quite a few clumps when it comes to this in there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your WDT tool and you're simply gonna put it in there, and you're gonna stir up all of these grounds. And as you can see, the big clumps end up disappearing a little bit more, and it seems way, way more fluffier. So then what you're gonna do is you are gonna aim to get this as flat as possible when it comes in there. So you kind of want a flat, even bed. And what kind of helps with that is slowly lifting up the stirring tool in order to kind of even that out as much as possible. Then what I typically do is I give it just a small little tap on the counter. The next thing you'll need to do is remove your little funnel if you had one. If not, like I said, it's not a big deal. What you're gonna do next is you are gonna take your tamper and you are gonna place it lightly on top. This is a beginner's guide. This might not be exactly what everybody would do, but I found this very helpful for me. And the goal isn't to force it down as much as possible, but the goal is to simply press it down where you start feeling resistance from the coffee. And the goal is to get it as level as possible. So I like to put my fingers all around the side of it to kind of help push it down at an even distance. And then what I do is I do a slight turn as I lift it up, and that allows the coffee to not be sucked up with it if it's a very tight. And then if you look, you will see a nice even bed throughout. And sometimes you might have a little basket or something, or line on the inside of this, on the inside of the wall here, and that will allow you to kind of know if it's even, because that's a line that kind of makes your portafilter basket stay in there a little better. Mine does not have one. So there, once you have your flat puck and the grounds are distributed fairly well, you should be good and know well enough to go ahead and pull your shot of espresso. But before we do that, I just want to say again, Thank you to today's sponsor of this series, Espresso Outlet. Espresso Outlet has a ton of different grinders, tools, tampers, and espresso machines on their website targeted toward the home and commercial brewer. They do a great job of customer service and really do their best to help you have the best setup that you can for your budget for espresso. So I'd appreciate it if you would check out their website in order to purchase your gear and figure out what you need for your espresso journey. And again, thank you so much to them for sponsoring this channel. So once you have this, you want to lock it into your espresso machine as smoothly as possible and tighten it, and then brew your shot of espresso. We will not be brewing the shot of espresso in today. We are going to be doing that in episode 3. Episode 3 will say how to dial in your espresso. Thank you so much for watching.